Hello and welcome to the Political Arena, a program designed to discuss anything and everything about politics. And of course, we talk about those who played as well as those people who watch them played as they should or not. My name is Mono Balagogo, and today we'll spotlight Kogi's gubernatorial race as parties conduct primaries. And as Kogi State gubernatorial election draws nigh, it's been suspense and intrigue surrounding who will not only hold the ticket of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in Kogi State, but also that of the opposition People's Democratic Party and other parties. Now, the elections are scheduled to hold on the 22nd of November. Indeed, all stakeholders involved must have been experiencing sleepless nights. Now, this election is sure going to be dynamic to watch, and of course, it remains to be seen if power will remain in the Central Senatorial District or shift to Kogi West or Kogi East. Well, a major problem staring the APC in the face is the court judgment which nullified its list for the scheduled governorship primary election with the adoption of the direct primary. And of course, today, as we record, happens to be the date for the primaries. Now, what are the chances of APC retaining power in the state? First, intra-party unity before, during, and after the primary election. And of course, the decision of Governor Bello in respect of who he throws his weight behind, and his success at doing so without the support of national leadership of the party. Well, just recently, of course, we gathered that the governor has ordained his auditor as his preferred candidate. Alhaji Usman Ododo is expected to emerge candidate of the All Progressive Congress today. Now, if Yaya Bello's permutation sail through, however, it is important we also note that all the aspirants that stepped down for Usman Ododo are Bello's appointees, and of course he made them all. And also we need to get it clear that Bello's imposition is only binding on the local aspirants. And of course my guest will be here to talk about who is likely to emerge. Well, what will drive the chances of the candidate? Of course, the choice could also be based on their performance, loyalty, unifying ability, of course, at both intra and inter-party levels. Now, of course, with the results coming in, Honorable Usman Ahmed Odo, the immediate past Auditor General for the local government, is cruising to, of course, emerge as the candidate for the APC. And of course, with us today to discuss all this and more is Mr. Mike Abu, the CEO of the Nigerian Post. And of course, we'll get to be looking at some of these happenings in politics in Kogi State. To join me with my guests as we go on a short break and we delve into this topic. Stay with us.
As suggested in the motion.
From 31st January to June 31st, 2023, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Do you know what it takes to lead? Do you understand what is politics? Do you have issues concerning the way we play politics? Do you have reservations about some political mugu? Do you want to serve or be served? Do you want to contest? Do you want to occupy any political office or be in charge of your world? All this and many more are what we discuss right here in the Political Arena, a program where we trash and arrange, condemn and commend, celebrate and blame all that play out in politics. Do not be told. Join me, Mono Balagogo, every Saturday by 7 p.m. to throw more light on why we play politics the way we do and how we can play it better. Political Arena, building a government of the people and for the people. Don't miss it. Good to have you, sir, on the program.
Thank you very much, viewers.
Thanks for being with us on the program on a short notice. And just to look at all the latest happenings, and of course, PDP is also having their primaries, but we're yet to get an update of the activities so far. And looking at the court case with Dino Milaye and all of these things that are happening, how would you describe the political atmosphere right now in the state? Is there tension anywhere?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mana. It's a pleasure to be here again once more, and we're looking at our state, Kogi State. We're in a transition, no doubt about it. INEC, by the timetable for 3 states, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo, are expected to conclude their primary elections by the 17th midnight of April. So meaning that we have just 3 days to go for all the parties to produce their flag bearers. But it's good to say that, yes, there is tension. It's not easy, no matter how long you spend in an office, be it political, administrative, religious, or whatever. Transiting and handing over to a successor is always a challenge. You want to look at the quality of those you want to hand over to, you look at the legacies you have, those will continue, and then you look at the capacity and the competence of those who you should hand over with. Of course, don't forget that we are in a state, Kogi State, which is like a mini Nigeria. The tribes are very, very influential when it comes to politics. We have had a particular section of the state, by the grace of God, they have had like a 16-year rule. And then by the time Governor Yabelo will be rounding up his second term, the Central Senatorial District would have had 8 years in office. And one would have expected, yes, that for fairness, for equity, for a sense of belonging, power should have gone to the West. But you know, in politics, it doesn't happen that way. Politicians, political parties are more concerned about winning the election first before they begin to talk about this balancing. And as we speak, yes, we're just back from the field. We have seen the APC conducting their primaries. It's a direct mode of primaries where all card-carrying members of the parties were expected to go to their wards and then vote. It's been hitch-free. We've seen results already turning in, and we are hoping that by midnight of today, the returning officer in person of the Zamfara State Governor, Alhaji Bello Matawali, will have made an official announcement of who becomes the candidate. But of course, as you know, just yesterday, we had about 8 aspirants withdrawn their interest in the race, and we also saw a preferred candidate in person of Ahmed Usman Ododo being seen to be likely to emerge as the APC flag bearer if at the end of the election the members also concord. We are hoping that we do not expect to see an upset because he has been somebody who has worked behind the scene. It's been one party loyal, a man who has been loyal. He has supported the party, and then you can't take it away. He has some form of relationship with the people, particularly the grassroots. So that has given him an edge, and we.
But would you say that the members of the party were quite shocked at the
that announcement or that decision shocked everybody to the marrow? Of course, it shocked me because we had people who were in the front liners. We had the Deputy Governor, Chief Edward Onoja, who had been a CMS twins of His Excellency in the last 8 years. He was Chief of Staff, then he became the Deputy Governor. We have the Accountant General, Jibrin Momo. Everybody was tipping him as also another preferred candidate. We have the Chief of Staff, Pharmacist Jamio Asuku, who was also making a lot of inroad. We had the Commissioner of Finance. These are people who, of course, on the social media, on billboards, if you go around the state, they were everywhere. So one had expected that the surprises was going to come from amongst them. And of course, in politics, you discover that things happen in a few minutes time, and all of a sudden all of your expectation just crashes down. So that's what we see in Ahmed Usman Ododo. Yes, he has capacity, no doubt about it, having held sway as the Auditor General local government in the last couple of years. In terms of finances, you can't bring somebody in the present day Nigeria to run an office without having a clear-cut understanding of how to manage the finances of the state. And if there is anything that Kogi State needs now, is somebody who is in the system, who is also coming in to build on the legacies that Governor Yabelo has done in the couple of years, to see how we can continue to win some of the laurels we have had in transparency and accountability. And I think his choice, of course, we will wait for the November general election where other parties will have fielded their candidate, and then we'll see if he can also make it through. What is happening now is just within the APC. The PDP, as we speak, will be going for her primaries on Sunday, It's an indirect method of primaries. They also have their crisis, just like in the APC.
Exactly.
You have some disagreement. I was aware that yesterday a high court in Abuja rejected the plea by some persons asking that the delegate list of the PDP, which they alleged was in favor of a particular contestant, be set aside. But the court in its ruling said they do not have jurisdiction to do that. So it means it has thrown back the race open for everybody, and we are hoping to see a free contest, unlike what happened in 2019, where there were some fracas at the stadium, shooting, and to a large extent some injuries were recorded. We hope to see the PDP hold a primary this time that will be very, very much acceptable to produce also a candidate. I am also aware that in the PDP there is an agitation for the West, there is an agitation for
almost all the parties.
All the parties, everybody wants to have a feel on it. And you know, since the creation of Kogi State 32 years ago, it's good to say that the West have never had a shot at elected governorship, and they are thinking that this is supposed to be the time. But if you look at the game in the PDP, with what the East are also doing, it shows that they have as many as 8 aspirants, meaning that they are not giving chances to such. So it's going to be an open contest. We hope to see alignment, which at the end of the day will produce a candidate. The African Democratic Congress is also having Governorship Congress tomorrow, and then other parties like the Labour Party are also coming up on the 17th, because that is the last day of the primaries. We hope that by midnight all primaries will have been concluded, except if there are rooms for substitutions. So,
all right, now looking at those of them who have pulled out, and of course definitely when the results of the primaries come together, only one person can emerge.
Yes.
Will it be too late for them to opt out for another political party, given INEC's deadline?
Yeah, given INEC's deadline, there is room for substitution even after 17.
Okay.
And as we speak, these politicians can be very smart. They already have what they call placeholders. Some people are already holding the ticket for them in some political parties. They have arranged that such that by the end of their primaries in their major parties, if it does not go through, all they just need to do is to talk to the placeholder, please step aside, and then I step in. There is a provision, the party can give you a waiver to say, even though you are just coming in, I think we deem you fit to run our ticket, and so on that note you can run. So it's not late. Of course, there is an electoral proviso that can catch you in the act, but this is an issue of judiciary. We have seen several persons gone scot-free with such kind of arrangement, so we might not be able to be prejudicial now. We should have to wait. But I know that there is an arrangement for placeholders. People are already holding the ticket for some of these persons who I'm not too sure will get the ticket. So even after the primaries, they can now sweep to the other political parties and then fly their flags.
Now we always talk about godfatherism, and its ill effects on governance in the country. And looking at the APC in Kogi State, is it not right for them to kind of separate themselves post Yaya Bello's administration? Because with what's going on, he's definitely still going to have a hold, on the party. And if eventually they produce a candidate, is it going to be in its power? So how do the parties seek to move forward post Yaya Bello's administration?
Yeah, I am one of those people who have always believed in building strong political institutions like the political parties, build institutions like the judiciary, build institutions like the Independent National Electoral Commission. But I want to say that what is happening in Kogi State, godfatherism in politics, it's not new. It's been way back, time immemorial. So we're always seeing it come to the fore in our own time. We're actually looking forward to having politics and democracy like it's been done in civilized clime, where the people have the power to decide who leads them, who represent them. Until we get to that stage, it's a work in progress. I want to say that yes, if you look at the last elections that were conducted, there was an improvement in what we had in the past with the introduction of the beavers. At least some of those bogus votes and some of the things politicians will do at the polling unit, we no longer see much of it. So we are thinking that party politics should be institutionalized. The way and manner you emerge as a flag bearer of your political party goes to say so much about how you will govern. Because there is nothing that gives a politician and a leader challenge like one trying to buy legitimacy. The way and manner you come out sends so much of signal. And if you spend all your time trying to let the people know, please, yes, I have just come, please accept me the way I am because I didn't come out the right way, you spend all of your time trying to assuage ill feelings, and so much time is being spent instead of hitting the ground running. So I will advocate that moving forward, parties should begin to think of how they can look at internal democracy such that there will be a seamless arrangement. Today we have the indirect method of primaries that is ongoing. We have the direct method of primaries that is ongoing in the PDP and the APC. But if there are issues that have taken party members to court, it is the issue of not even having a valid membership register. So you discover that you can't do some of these things without having membership registers. People are supposed to be up-to-date financial members to be able to vote and be voted for. But today, as we speak, even in the APC, some people could not vote because they were not financial members. Some people are not expected to be elected because they are also not financial members. And so the idea of always waiting for a particular time to come, then one godfather just chooses a list and now writes the name of those he thinks are his cronies, family members, to go out and elect him as delegate. I think it's giving a very wrong signal to our democracy, and that we must begin to see and we can correct moving forward.
Now let's look at the dynamics, of the various senatorial districts.
Yeah.
Obviously, a crisis is looming. Can we say that a crisis is definitely looming? Because for APC, we can kind of see how, the graph is showing what the outcome of the candidate is going to be.
Yeah.
Definitely some people are not going to feel happy about that. And same goes too for PDP. How do you think all of this is going to shape up? Because definitely we're going to see divisions. We're going to see factions and people begin to break out.
No doubt about it. The way the scenarios are already turning out, it's good to say that we are beginning to see the ethnic card being played ahead of the Kogi State governorship election. Because I am not a soothsayer, but I can tell you that in the PDP, the likelihood of somebody from Kogi East emerging is very high. In Kogi Central, they already hold, I make bold to say that they hold the APC ticket, all things being equal. And then the ADC, which is to the west, is already going to have a candidate in the House of Rep member who is already sitting, re-elected, but of course has picked the governorship nomination form. So I make bold to say that the November election will see the three major tribes going into battle on the strength of their ethnic card. It has always been said that the East has like 52% of the population and registered voters, while the Central has about 28%, and then the West has about 22%. So if you just oppose this, then you now begin to bring in the party structure. No doubt about it, the APC, as we speak, having been in governance for 8 years, has been able to have structures in every unit ward, and so that may be an advantage they may be relying on. And then relying also on the institutional framework, the police, the INEC, for which you know how it's been done in our climb, it might be an advantage to them. So we must begin to look out from these sentiments and these mundane issues that separate us in politics. Competence, I think, should play out. Capacity, I think, should play out. What the man is able to, his antecedents over the years, offices he has held, what he can use the current one to do, should be the driving force and not where a man comes from.
Exactly.
Not where he
now,
comes from.
this is more directly towards the electorate. Now, how do they, will I say, wise up? Because right now, in this particular dispensation now in Nigerian politics, there seems to be an awakening, especially amongst young people. We looked at, how the Peter Obi movement with the Labour Party was able to at least shape the outcome of the last presidential elections. And looking at it at the state level, are you seeing, is there an uprising amongst the youths for demanding something better than the limitation of, this ethnic bias of where you're from?
Yeah, if there is one thing I think we still are lagging behind in Kogi State, it is our political culture. When you just oppose it with the Nigerian political culture, with what happened in the presidential election, how the youth came out in their mass number, wanting the Labour Party, the obedient movement, and then voting the way they did, you will discover that that was not the scenario in Kogi State. It was the same culture.
Even at that presidential
Even
election.
at that presidential, it was not the scenario. People are still glued to their political parties. People are still glued to their brother wanting to be elected. People are still glued to who is controlling them, until the people of Kogi State begin to have a political mindset like it happens in other places. I make bold to say that Kogi State was one state that even during the EndSARS crisis, we never had any protests in the state. Was it that we didn't have our youth? Until our youth begin to have that culture of inclusiveness in doing the right thing, not just being in NACOS, not just being in NANS, not just being in one of these youth association that is an arm of government, so to say. They should begin to see themselves as they are the future of this country, they are the future of this state, and they must carve a niche for themselves by ensuring that it is not all about what you make now, the material things they make now. They should think about laying foundational blocks for the future. Only then will they now begin to look at, we must do things differently. So I look forward to the youth moving into the governorship election. You must ask yourself questions. How have we fared in the last 8 years? How have we fared in the last couple of years? Is my life better in school? Is my life better in terms of unemployment? The indicators are so high. Unemployment is rising. Underemployment is nothing to write home about. Poverty level has increased. And until we begin to look at where we want to be as a state, we can't begin to talk about having the natural resources in abundance in Kogi State. Pride ourselves as having over 34, 36 natural resources underneath the earth. We have an Ajakuta that has been moribund. We have an Obajana cement factory that has not been able to gainfully employ our management staff who are in the middle class. Only then can we now begin to answer some of those questions that will push us to that level of patriotism, to have an understanding that yes, we must do things differently, different from what we used to do. Whatever amount of money you collect now, somebody made an analysis. If you take 5,000 naira for a vote, in 5 years you are spending just 4 naira, 4 kobo every day. And then just oppose that with your life for 4 years. I think we must begin to look at the issues that are critical to our life and survival, and not just mundane issues.
Exactly. Now, one last question that I would love to ask. What is that key specific area in terms of manifesto? Because definitely immediately after the primaries we begin to see manifesto. What do you think is key on the minds of Kogites that is unique to Kogi, that you think if any candidate is able to leverage on addressing that particular area, definitely there is a chance for that person to get into power? Yes,
you must have as a priority in your manifesto what Kogites are really looking out for. We have never seen this level of poverty. You must be that person who is coming with an economic blueprint that addresses the economy, the life of the civil servants, in terms of their welfare. There must be an improvement in local government administration to the extent that we do no longer have the kind of percentage salaries we're having. Yes, we must accept that it is a fallout of what comes in that you pay out. But let us begin to look inward to see how this local government can, beyond waiting for just the revenue allocation, think of what they can do so that people can have a living wage. We must begin to look at our unity. The state has never been as polarized as it is now, as much as government is doing to galvanize everybody together. But I can tell you that certain things are happening that are also making people to think this is not the Kogi State of my dream. So we must be able to look at a politician who has a manifesto that addresses the economy generally, and then bring together our unity so that we can cohabit peacefully, and then look forward to another 8 years of administration that will take us to our zenith as a state in the committee of state that people will be proud of. And then only then can we explore the potentials that we talk about that are underneath our soils.
All right, that's the much I can take on the political arena today. With us has been the CEO of the Nigerian Post, Mr. Mike Abu. Once again, thank you, sir, for being with us.
Very
Hope
much
to have you as time goes on. And from our end, we'll say that as Nigerian citizens, we need to do the right thing. And don't forget to like our Facebook pages displaying on your screen, and to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, my name is Mono Balagogo, and thanking you for joining me on the political arena. See you on the next edition.